The Thriller Bark arc. This is season 10. We're going to review the first half of it. It's 45 episodes. I'm doing 1 through 24 on this episode of movie reviews, anime reviews, just Zakka review and stuff. But yeah, Thriller Bark, One Piece season 10 part 1 on this. And I get why people don't say this is a fun arc, or why people say this arc is not one of the best arcs out there, because watching the anime of it, there's a lot of dragging. I mean, this arc drags a lot, and maybe because during the time of actual release of each episode, because these episodes came out in 2008, the episodes could have been released bi-weekly, and they were trying to slow down so Oda can finish writing the Thriller Bark arc, or finish writing the Saba Odi Archipelago arc, or wherever at the time skip, or whatever part of the manga. I don't think he'll be in time skip if he was that close. If Funimation was that close during the time of these episodes release, he's probably at Lily Island, Amazon Lily, or he's probably in Impel Down. But anyway, Impel Down. Anyway, I'm talking about One Piece stuff that if you're a One Piece fan, you're like, you haven't watched past season 10, you're like, Ali, what are you talking about?
What?
We'll get there slowly but surely. Anyway, Thriller Bark. Yes, the pacing in this season is not the best right now. I'm on episode 24, just finished. Usopp having one of his triumphant moments, and Shogun King, Sniper King came back for a hot minute. But the main part of this arc, what I mean by pacing, is that like we got a lot of recap over and over and over again. And usually I don't start off reviews with the dislike. I start off with the likes and head to the dislikes. But this dislike was it was bothering me so much that I had to open up this review with that. And yes, it is the pacing. So what I mean by pacing is that there's certain clips in One Piece in this season where we're getting the same clip over and over again, like 5 straight episodes. And one of the reoccurring pieces you get is when the Straw Hats pretty much alert Gecko Moria where they're located at. And where they let Gecko know where they're at by opening up a barrel, and a barrel shot with fireworks. Then it summoned Gecko's ship to pretty much come in and encapsulate the the Thousand Sunny in the new ship, because we just finished E's Lobby and they have a whole new ship now. Going Merry has now been set to the grave, and Frankie has built the Thousand Sunny to pretty much carry them on the rest of the journey of the Grand Line. But anyway, that ship gets encapsulated by this humongous ship that's the size of an island by Gecko Moria, one of the 7 warlords of the sea. He encapsulated them, but the fact they kept showing the signal where Luffy opened up the barrel, and it shoots up the fireworks, and it shows the clouds and everything. They showed Luffy open up the barrel at least 5 times in like 5 straight episodes. I don't need to watch the same clip over and over again for me to see that Luffy opened the barrel. You can literally just say, oh, when Luffy did that, 3rd time, cool. The 4th time, or what are we doing here, 5th time, this is hilarious, we need to stop. And I swear to God, if I saw a 6th time, I'm going to lose my mind.
I can't do this.
But also when it came to Brook introducing how you defeat the zombies by giving them salt, Brook just gave us the information in the prior episode when you did the exposition again for Frankie telling Usopp this is how you defeat them. I didn't need to watch what Brook did again. I don't need to watch the scene again. I get it. You're trying to slow down the anime so that way you have Oda time to release the manga and you guys can catch up and let him, get way ahead of you guys before y'all catch up. But sometimes just go on a break. It's not that hard. Take a month, 2 months, 3 months off. Oda's releasing manga panels, once every week or once every 2 weeks. Just, it's okay to have seasons and take a month, 2 months, maybe 4 months off, and then do reruns of new season. Like, you can do that. One Piece has enough episodes where you can rerun One Piece from a certain spot and let yourself catch up versus releasing them weekly. But I digress. That's the big flag when it comes to, the big dislike when it comes to Thriller Bark in this first half. I didn't even finish the back half of Thriller Bark. This is just the first half of Thriller Bark. Now I got the negatives out the way. Let's talk about Should I talk about Sanji? Let's talk about Sanji. Sanji, writing wise, in this season is not the best. Sanji, we know he's a lover boy. He's the Brock of One Piece. He's the Master Roshi of One Piece. He's not Mayonetta. He hasn't got to that level yet. But this season, he's pretty much there on Mayonetta's level. And for those who watch My Hero Academia, you know what I mean. Well, Sanji, the only reason why he wanted to fight the guy who could turn invisible because he got the clear flute that allowed you to turn invisible. And Sanji wanted it for himself so he could be a perv himself.
My dream, I saw it so clearly. I could do so much good with it. Use it to protect new girls! No, I mean, I could help all mankind and new girls! No, I had this beautiful vision of the future and new girls!
He just wants to peek at naked girl.
Why do you need one of your top 3 characters, one of the big 3, to be a perv? There was no reason to write that in there, Oda, and I get it. This arc is definitely different from other arcs in One Piece. It is a very like spooky Scooby-Doo kind of arc where like it's zombies and ghouls and monsters and shadows and possessions and ghosts. It's all those things. It's a horror theme. It is legit a horror segment of One Piece. I do give Oda props because Oda's one of the few writers that I know can transition from super serious to goofy and still have you engrossed in the storyline where you don't lose yourself. The idea of showing that each island can be different was genius in season 2 and season 1 because when you get to stuff like this, you're like, oh, you went to a winter island, you went to a sandy island, now you're going to a freaking island of ghouls and ghosts and shadows and ghosts and zombies and whatnot. Like, what is going on here? Frankenstein's left and right. Oda wanted to flex his horror, knowledge and his horror writing. Well, he did a good job in this. And the first half of it is solid. But to do Sanji in this way where Sanji is pretty much, it's not character assassination, but you really lose respect for Sanji as a character. You're like, all right, he respects women. No, he want to be a perv and he want to look at women as an object, which is one thing to be like, oh my gosh, I love women so much. Nami, Robin, I want to do all these things for you too. I want to creep on Nami and Robin. So you get Sanji in this where you're like, oh, well, Sanji drops a few pegs, but then you introduce Brook, who's a ghost. Well, I guess not ghost. He is a dead man walking, I guess you should say. Like, he's been revived. So Brook is a man who died, and with the, I want to say a live fruit or live fruit, he was able to be reincarnated again, or come back to life, but his soul got lost when he was looking for his body, and by the time he got to his body was skulls and bones. So he repossessed his body and now he is nothing but a skeleton. But he can still do everything like a person who's alive. The thing is, he makes a lot of jokes about how he can't see with eyelids or he does certain stuff. But he's so light now, he can run on water. Brook's a cool character. He's also a perv too. He's your underwear guy. Every time he sees Nico, Robin, or Nami, he's like, can I see your panties? Like, bruh. Calm down. It's a reoccurring joke, but Brook, that's as far as he goes. He stops at that and he doesn't do anything else as far as like pervy besides asking to see a lady's panties. But other than that, Brook is a cool character. He's the musician. He loves playing music and he's a goofy character, but also he's strong enough to fight on his own and take out people and he doesn't really need to be saved. He's not a damsel in distress character. He is a reliable, strong character as well. But all right, let's go ahead and get into the main stuff of it and the stuff that I did like as far as this goes. Writing wise, I do like the writing of it. In the manga, the pacing of it is a lot better. But the writing wise, where you have Usopp, Nami, and Chopper go on the island first, and everything they're experiencing is like terrifying. They see Cerberus, they run. They see zombies, they run. They see Frankensteins, they run. They see the ghosts, they run. They're terrified to death. Then you get Frankie, Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, Robin. They go onto the island and their experiences of the same thing is completely different. It's a complete flip from for Nami, Chopper, and Usopp. There's a scene where one of my favorite scenes in One Piece where a zombie comes out the ground. Luffy looks at it, walks up to it, and push it back in the ground.
Don't put me back on the ground, jackass!
When without a second thought. He just goes in, push it in, and then just go on about his business. And the zombie's like, what the heck? You don't push it back in. And then they proceed to kick all the zombies' butt. Like, you have the three characters who's afraid of everything go first, and then the characters who are pretty much can handle their own business, they go next, and they legit go through and clean up the island to the point where Gecko Moria starts capturing them and taking their shadows. So the main thing that's going on here is that Luffy and the crew were trying to get off the island. They get here, they see the island, they try to get off of it, but they can't get off of it, and then their shadows get taken. And by getting those shadows taken, they now have to beat the big bad to get the shadows freed. Also, Luffy wants Brook to join their crew, but Brook can't join their crew until he get his shadow back. And to order Brook to do that, he had to defeat his zombie, which is a samurai from Wano, which is pretty dang cool that Wano exists. Well, I guess it exists in season 1 too, and then it kind of, you know, you had the third maybe mention of it, third or fourth mention of it here. It could be number 2, but third or fourth mention of it here in Thriller Bark when you fight one of the legendary samurais from Wano. And Brook had to fight his own shadow, or fight his own zombie. He gets beat a few times, but at this point in the season, this first half of it, he is still fighting his zombie. Luffy's zombie gets taken and gets put into Oars, which is a legendary monster. It gets put in there, and he pretty much takes the mentality of Luffy. He wants meat, he wants fish, he is always hungry, and he also does the same attack moves because it's Luffy's shadow. He's like, my arms doesn't stretch like I wanted to do. All right, whatever. But he still is strong and powerful. Also, Zoro's shadow gets put into a zombie, and Sanji's shadow gets put into another zombie, and they take the characteristics of their character. But for you to get into that, that's like, I don't know, episode like 19, 18, 17. Like, it's the back half. The first half of it, it's really not Nico Robin, but Nami, Chopper, and Usopp exploring the island and going through all the ghostly things, and they're getting a lot of exposition dumps. Like, the first probably 15 minutes or 15 episodes of this season is a lot of exposition and laying the groundwork, which Oda does a good job for. And then the back half is when it really kicks up. But it's 24 episodes in, and the first 10, the laying the groundwork stuff is like, all right, we're just dragging stuff out. We're watching the same clips over and over again from the previous episodes that we already seen. We don't need a recap, and we don't need like this opener is 2 minutes long, and then you get another recap, which is like another 2 minutes. Then you get the actual episode, and then you get the closing, which by the time you're done with it, you're about 15 minutes of new footage, a new detailed information before you move on to the next episode. So the pacing of it is the one bad thing about Thriller Bark, but the action is actually solid. When you get the action scenes, they're good. One Piece doesn't miss on that, and the gags and jokes are hilarious. Like jokes from Scooby-Doo, jokes from other horror movies, jokes from I don't think they actually do The Shining in this. Is it The Shining? I don't think it's Shining, but like, here's Jackie, like, here's Johnny. Like, I think that's The Shining. I don't think that's in here, but there's a bunch of nods to horror films and Hitchcock and a bunch of other horror writers in this. I give Oda props for doing that. Oda has a good job of doing that. And let me go ahead and talk about characters coming up. So, characters. Let's start off with Brook. Brook, like I mentioned, he is a musician. He's from another pirate crew, and his crew dies out. We don't know exactly what happened to him, but he's the sole survivor of his crew. But he ended up telling Frankie and Robin what his backstory is, that he's trying to get back to a little whale that we meet in season 1 named Laboon. And Laboon, or is it season 2? I think we meet him in season... No, I think we meet Laboon. Yeah, we meet Laboon in season 2. And Laboon is a whale that the Straw Hat crew meet at the beginning of the Grand Line that Luffy fights and also makes him a part of the crew, like an honorary member of the crew. He's like, hey, stop running your head into the wall. We'll be back. Laboon's trying to get back to his crew. Laboon wants to be a part of his crew again. So Brook tells him, hey, I have a well I made a promise to, and even after death, your promises gotta stick to him. So he's trying to go back and say hi to Laboon and let him know, hey, we're still here, and he apologized for them not coming back. So Frankie and Robin's like, oh man, we need him. Like Frankie's like, we need him on our crew. Like he is a very vital part. And Brook is a cool character. He's goofy. He fits right along with the rest of the Straw Hats. Besides a little bit of pervy things here and there, but other than that, he's a fine character. Goofy, also competent, can hold up his own. You don't have to worry about him in a fight. And matter of fact, a lot of the zombies and a lot of the villains in this arc is afraid of Brook, except for his shadow, who could kick his butt. That's in the samurai from Wano. Luffy's the same. He's the same character. Like, he wants Brook to join his crew. He's willing to help him out. Robin is the same as of right now. Zoro's the same. Sanji's where he takes a hit for his character. Sanji is definitely, more pervy in this season for no reason, and you kind of like look at his character like, man, maybe he's not as cool as I thought he was. He's just a pervy young dude. I know he's 20-something years old or 19 years old, but a pervy young dude, and he's just like, okay, well, poor Sanji. Then you have Frankie. Frankie's a part of the crew now. And matter of fact, Frankie introducing the Thousand Sunny, and we get to see the crew interact with the ship and all the little things and the little rooms that are made for each person at the beginning of the season, which is kind of cool. It's cool seeing the Straw Hat crew just chilling and relaxing for a little bit and getting to explore the Thousand Sunny, which is, I thought, was a nice little nod to, Oda's writing, where he's like, this is downtime for the Straw Hats as well, and they get to explore their new ship and all the things they can do. Props to that. I thought that was kind of cool. So Frankie's here. Frankie's, a competent character as well. Nami, has a stalker in this season, and it is not the best. Like, you have a scene where Nami's taking a shower, and he's the Absalon, whatever his name is, he is invisible, and he licks Nami in the shower, and it's really creepy. Not a cool thing, but it's the horror aspect of it that you feel like you can't really do anything to protect Nami. Chopper and Uso are outside the room, and then they barge in and see like Nami's like somebody trying to take Nami, and they pretty much save her. But Absol, I'll get his name here in a moment, keeps trying to marry Nami. Like, he wants to marry Nami, so like kidnap her. But Nami has her stalker, and she pretty much fights off him in this season. But not really fights off, she gets captured, but becomes a damsel in distress. But she's with Usopp and Chopper as they get all that exposition. Usopp has a moment in this season where he comes back and he is, Sniper King again, and he's standing up a fight, and he can the only one who can take out Peoria, who is a ghost character who can pretty much make everybody negative. Like, she sends ghosts through you and you become negative. You can, like, for example, one person want to be a slug, another person like, I don't want to exist anymore. Well, Usopp's always negative. So he has the opportunity to stand up and fight Peoria, because he's one of the people who has more negativity than she has, and he can beat her. So he has a moment in this season, which I appreciate that. Anytime Usopp can get a moment, let Usopp get his moment. And then Chopper has a role model in this, Dr. Hogback, which I'm going to talk about him as well. Chopper has his role model, and Chopper learned that his role model is not as amazing of a person as he thinks. So the Straw Hat crews have their moments. Like, I like how Chopper, Usopp, and Brook has their moment. This is really Brook's season, but have their moments so far. And Sanji has his moment, but it's not the best. It's the worst. And then the villain of Thriller Bark, you have Gecko Moria, who is the Seven Warlords of the Sea. He wants to pretty much be one of the top pirates in One Piece, and he wants an army of the dead because his current crew, I believe, got wiped out. So he wants to have a crew that he can just command and don't have to worry about, them dying. They can keep fighting. So he gets a group of villains. He gets Hogback, who can help make zombies, and he takes people body parts like that and stitch them together. You have Absalom, who is He is pretty much the clear fruit. He can eat he turned invisible pretty much. He's a guy who turned invisible. Pretty much is a horrible character. But he want to be king of the, like, he's the leader of the zombie army. And then you have Perona, I don't call Peoria, but Perona, she is pretty much can turn anybody negative. Like, her ghosts go through you and they drop you and pretty much incapacitate you because you can't do anything because you're just all negative. So she can shut down anybody who is super powerful. And Hallback is used to make the zombies, and what's his name, Zakka Moria, by stealing the zombies or stealing people's shadows, can make the zombies alive by pretty much stealing your shadow, and they put their shadow in a zombie, and there you go. That's how he's creating his army. But he can't kill anybody because if you kill the original person who has the shadow ceases to exist. So they pretty much hide everybody on this island, and they get touching the sun, they burn up, so they can't come out in the sun. They don't come out at night. But that's Zakka Moria, his crew. And Moria, he's just the big bad. Hallback is a horrible person. He pretty much wants to kind of keep life going, but he wants to make an army of it to pretty much help Zakka Moria. Aslam is just a perv, and then Perona, she's just there, but like she's just a villain with the group. She's not really much of anything. Like, she doesn't have like an overarching goal. She's just following along because she's part of the crew. And they have their opposites. So Sanji versus Aslam, and Sanji destroys him. Hallback versus Chopper, and then Perona versus Usopp. Any other thoughts? Not really. I'm curious to see what the back half look. And this is an anime, or this season you should binge. Nah, it's not. If you binge it, you gotta get through it because the pacing of it is where it hurts the worst. But other than that, like the characters and the moments they have, like Robin able to make wings and say Frankie was cool, but it's just really, it's really the pacing of it. That's the one bad thing I have about this first half of the season. The action's cool, and then of course Sanji's. It's not character assassination, but Sanji's definitely treated differently in this season. Or you find out his true kind of character in this season. Alright, grading time. I'm going to grade Thriller Bark Part 1, One Piece Season 10, Part 1. I'm going to give this a C+. I'm going to give it a C+, a 79%. And the reason why is because the pace of it is super slow. And in fact, you got to rehash scenes you've seen in other episodes that we just saw 2 episodes ago or an episode ago. And I know it came out 2008, so you may be watching weekly, but if you're watching weekly, you don't need to see the same thing over and over again. Showing a recap, that's cool, but you don't need to show the same scene halfway through. Now, I do understand why they show the episode from season 2 when they meet Laboon and everything at that island, because Laboon and Croc is at the island because it's been, what episode is this? 300? Episode, yeah, 337. This is like episode 300. Like we're in the 30s, 330s. Shoot, that's episode what, 64, episode 70 something. So it makes sense why you are, showing a whole episode there. That's fine. But to show the same clips again over and over again, it really just stop the pacing of it. So for that, I'm gonna give it a C+. Everything else, One Piece wise, solid, but it's a C+ for me when it comes to the first half. We'll see what the back half, episode 25 to 45 looks like, but episode 1 to 24 is definitely a C+. If you guys seen Thriller Bark, the first half of Thriller Bark, season 1, One Piece season 10, part 1, what do you guys think? Please put in the comment section below on that. See you guys next episode of movie breakdowns, series reviews, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode movie breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.